guys, welcome to the Onside Kick. Ricky Widmer here along with Dave Oster.
Hey guys.
And Mark Weber.
How's it going?
And we're here like we are every week to talk about sports and everything we love about sports. Going to be talking about the Bears-Rams game. We're going to be talking a little bit of baseball, got some college football, and going to end the show with our weekly NFL picks. But guys, Bears-Rams this week. Cutler is not going to start. Duh. What are you thinking going into this game?
I'm really interested to see how the Long brothers are going to do together in this Rams game. Because you got Chris Long, who's probably going to line up right across from the rookies because it's his best chance to get to McCown. And I don't know if the brother connection, how that's going to line up. I can easily see the older brother kind of dominating the younger brother just because, that's kind of how it goes. So I think that's something we're going to see. I think McCown's going to have some trouble. The Rams defense is a good defense. It's the only good thing about this team, to be honest, besides maybe Tavon Austin in the last, week. But, yeah, it's the only good thing they have. I think it's really key for them to get to McCown and get him to throw that first interception of the season.
Nope, not going to happen. McCown is a flawless quarterback with absolutely no faults.
None whatsoever, Dave? No faults?
Have you seen one? I haven't.
Except for that game where he only played a drive.
And
but that's because he only played a drive.
On that one drive.
It was garbage time. Doesn't matter. I think McCown, he's done terrific things. We're really happy with him. He's making a lot of people ask questions about the future of quarterbacks. We've talked about that pretty much every week lately. But I think McCown, I wouldn't call him flawless for the sense of he's not really doing that much. If you asked him to do a lot, he probably would start to show some flaws. Right now, it's a very simple game. It's just kind of get the ball out of his hands, get it to our playmakers, and just play
I completely disagree with you. I think right now he is making plays. He's making all the throws that Cutler would make in his place. It's a completely open playbook. Trustman's not holding anything back. So I think it's almost insulting that you would say McCown is being held back by the system and being limited in his options.
Well, and I'm just going to throw out from last week, of course, the Bears had the overtime win over the Ravens. McCown, 216 yards, 19 completions, 1 touchdown, and was only sacked twice in the game.
Which is good. We don't want him on the ground, obviously, because we don't have very many other quarterbacks to play.
Come on, we got Lil Palmer.
Yeah, I don't trust Lil Palmer very much at all. But yeah, I think McCown needs to stay up. He needs to avoid throwing that first interception still. Keep putting that off as long as you can. Because for the Rams, they just have to come at him. That's the game plan. Get to McCown, fluster this quarterback, this, inexperienced quarterback, even though he's 34 years old. He doesn't get to start very often. So get to him, pressure him, fluster him, make him make a dumb mistake, because he hasn't so far.
Well, and that's the one thing I'm thinking about because I'm looking back at the win over the Ravens, and if you look at the scoring summary, Bears only got 1 touchdown from the offense. They got 1 from the defense, and then a bunch of Robbie Gould field goals, which is how they were able to beat the Ravens.
It's called teamwork.
I know that we had the huge 2-hour delay because of the weather in Chicago.
Which pretty much saved the Bears, because early on we were down and out.
Down 10-0 before that.
Literally,
delay.
You couldn't throw the football forward. It was just the wind was ridiculous.
But, coming into this game, do you think the offense is going to play a little bit better than we saw last week?
Well,
is it all because of the weather?
The weather was terrible, obviously, because we had that huge 2-hour break and of all the devastation in Illinois right now as well. But it's completely difficult to throw. Nothing was working out well. And we had this horrible rain as well, making it difficult to do much of anything. It was nice to get that little break. And honestly, I think after a bad start with that and McCown talking about how they just weren't doing enough studying, they need to study the playbook more and have everything focused for the beginning, because obviously the beginning is scripted out exactly what they're going to do. So I think that's a wake-up call of we have to start off strong, because the Bears never really start strong. We always kind of drag our way into it.
Well, you said wake-up call, and the one thing I just thought of was one person that this Bears defense is going to have to game plan for will be Zach Stacy, because you have Ray Rice, 130 yards last week and a touchdown. Ray Rice that everyone was like, oh, where's Ray Rice been? And now the Bears will have to go up against Zach Stacy, who 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks because they had the bye, they play Seattle, 134 yards against them. Against Tennessee, 127 and 2 touchdowns. Had 62 and a touchdown against Indy. If the Bears can't stop him, this might be a long day for that defense.
We have to be realistic. The Bears aren't going to stop him. The Bears aren't
Can
going
they
to stop
contain
anybody.
him? Can they contain him, though?
We can't stop any runner. Can we contain a runner? Fortunately, the Bears don't have to worry that much about that because just giving up the run game, yeah, it's going to cause some problems, but that's what we've been doing lately anyways, and we've still been able to stay in the game and to even win games. Clemens is not going to be able to do anything.
Really? Clemens, on only 9 completions in the win over the Colts, 247 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and that's horrible defense right there.
But that's because Tavon
The Bears
Austin
are not that
had
good
a
I was going to
game.
say, you're giving Tavon Austin no credit on there. Thank you.
2 receptions, 138
I
yards.
think we've figured out that we need to stop Tavon Austin. I think we've got that one.
He caught 2 of his 3 targets.
It's pretty impressive. 66%, you know. But yeah, I think the Bears capitalize on some mistakes, get some turnovers, especially interceptions, and that passing game pretty much is going to be non-existent, but make sure that it can't do anything. That's how the Bears can do this one.
See, I don't know. I'm going to say this. I'm picking the Bears to win this game, but this game might be closer than I once thought during the preseason.
Well, yeah, because we have horrible injuries.
Well, not just that. I mean, I would think that
Our team fell
preseason,
apart.
I was like, the Rams are a joke. Rams coming into this game,
Still
they're
a
not
joke.
a joke.
Yeah, they're
They're
not.
not a joke.
Still a joke.
They kind of are jokey.
I mean, they have a run game with Stacy.
And
Yeah.
that's it.
Clemens
Besides the
is
defense, they got
doing,
defense.
I would say, I don't want it to sound like I'm saying he's as good as McCown, but he's doing a patch-up job.
Liar.
He's doing a good patch-up job for an injured quarterback.
I mean, well, this is the thing for backup quarterbacks. When you have a run game, that's what you need. You have a run game, and your quarterback doesn't have to do anything, and then he won't make stupid mistakes.
Exactly. And in addition, also good defense and special teams makes your job easier at managing the game. And guess what? The Rams had all 3 last week. So that explains why he had a win.
2
But-
weeks ago.
Whatever, when the last time it happened. That's all I'm saying is he's not that good of a quarterback, and I think the Bears will expose a lot of his weaknesses this week. And in reality, like we said, Tavon Austin was the reason their offense moved the ball, or actually scored, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're right. We can't stop the run regardless of who we put up. We could pack 9 in the box. It wouldn't matter. Our defensive line is so weak that anyone is going to average about 6 yards a carry against us. So we just got to get that safety coverage. And, oh, my God, our safety play is so bad, though.
Chris Conti, I don't understand why he's still on this team.
It
we
makes-
mention it every
yeah.
week.
You bitch about Conti every week,
Every damn
Mark.
week because he always messes up, and he's always the guy who is
It's not even like a
blowing
small mess,
coverage.
it's just blatant. It's
Was
like,
it?
what were you thinking?
Wait, wasn't he the guy that made the tackle on Ray Rice late in last week's game to keep them out of the end zone for them to actually tie the game, though? I believe he was the one that made the tackle to keep Ray Rice out of the end zone. So how can he be...
He's a shitty safety.
he
He
can't
can
cover.
tackle people.
Okay.
Anyone can tackle people.
Congratulations,
Just
you
try,
tackle someone.
just trying to play devil's advocate
Go get
here.
yourself an interception. Go block a pass.
Go read a fucking offense. I'm sorry. Like, he can't figure out where on the field he's supposed to be. He's like, let's see, Calvin Johnson's one-on-one over here. Who should I go help? I don't know. Better leave Calvin Johnson one-on-one with Tillman with a bad leg and a broken hand.
This is
No.
why he needs to get kicked off the team. Cut him.
Yeah, but who do you have to replace him
I don't
if you
care.
do?
Anyone's going to be better.
Seriously.
You put a box of cookies out there and it'll be fine.
There's a chance it will distract the wide receivers. That gives us a higher chance than Conti actually covering anybody.
It's so true, though. It's so true. He's so bad. He needs to get off the team every week. In any kind of Bears discussion or anything, you always see people just ranting about how bad Chris Conti is. And somehow he's been on this team for a long time. And a starter for a long time. I don't get it.
Well, last thing I'm going to ask, unless you guys have anything else to bitch about the Bears, who do you got winning this game?
Still the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to definitely pick the Bears.
I think we're all going with Bears in this one. I'm going to say 14-point favorites for me.
You're out of your mind. This
They're
one's
going
going
to
to
win
be
by
like
14 points.
This will be like 5 point, 6 point game. It's gonna be close. There's gonna be lots of field goals.
Close again.
Yep.
Do you thi-
Well, the Bears are always going to be in close territory now.
do you really think that? I mean, I feel like, and you just brought this up by saying it's going to be close. I think Trestman, as a coach, needs another big win because early on it was like close game here, close game there. They had the big win against the Steelers. He needs another game like that because lately, close games in the last three games.
But this is how the Bears are going to play now. They got a backup quarterback in there. They're running the ball a decent-ish amount. But this is what we're doing. But we have to have close games. That's the only way we're going to win.
Part of me, even though I know it should be a closer game than expected, part of me feels like, but it's the Rams.
Rams have a good defense, first of all. And second of all, if you ask your backup quarterback to go out there and just fucking light it up, he's going to throw interceptions.
But he hasn't. McCown hasn't.
Because he hasn't been asked to light it up.
True, good point. But I mean,
he plays smart,
and that's close football. That's what you're going to get.
Well, and now to move over into the only baseball topic we're going to touch today, blockbuster trade in the world of the MLB. Prince Fielder goes to Texas. Ian Kingsler goes to Detroit.
Texas still trying to buy another shot at the World Series. Just keep throwing money down the well. Maybe somewhere it'll come from. But it doesn't make sense.
They didn't have to throw away much money because out of the 170-something that Fielders owed, the Tigers said, "Oh, we'll pay $30 million of it."
Yeah, kind of makes you wonder why the Cubs couldn't get rid of Soriano doing that.
Because they didn't want to make a deal like that.
Yeah.
And plus, who wanted Soriano?
4 years ago, somebody maybe. But no, let's get back to the point. Texas, you're still going about this the wrong way. You need more pitching. If you learned anything from last year, it's pitching, followed by pitching, and pitching.
Well, I think you also have an issue here with the Tigers. Tigers were that team that had the dream team all set up. They got everything going their way. They haven't had anything to really show for it. I don't see that World Series.
But, new coach, so interesting move for him to I'm curious how the team will shape up after this move and who's going to take the real. I know Verlander's a leader in that organization, but you got to think that he provides some.
Well, everything that I've been hearing about this trade has been, you look at Prince Fielder and his contract. They basically made this deal to make sure they have money to keep Max Scherzer around. Because like you said, Dave, yeah, Verlander's the ace. But you can't just get it done with Verlander alone. You need Scherzer on this team.
It's no longer that league where you can get a World Series ring off of that one-star pitcher. You need to go deep. You need to have three guys who you can absolutely rely on, and then you need some strength in the bullpen. That is absolutely key these days, and that's the thing. We're seeing with that whole contract garbage going on in New York. It's like,
Cano?
Yeah, why would we pay someone $310 million for just at bats and some okay fielding? It's not worth it. They don't have the impact that a pitcher has to just win games.
See, I feel like Texas in this situation, they're trying to replace Hamilton with this trade. That's what I think. Offensively, they're trying to get a guy like Hamilton back, hoping that Prince Fielder can get that role. But for Detroit, what they get out of this, I think that Ian Kingsler, everyone's saying that, he's going to steal more bases than Fielder. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. But I feel like as next season unfolds, they're going to struggle a little bit because Cabrera's not going to have the same success because Prince Fielder isn't hitting above or below him. He's not right around him in the lineup, so he's not going to have the same success he had.
Fortunately for the Detroit Tigers here, they pretty much had this division locked up anyways. It's basically yours.
For next year already, the Sox fans saying, go ahead, take the division in 2014.
Hey, we're in rebuilding mode. We got excited a couple seasons ago, and now we're in rebuilding mode. And that's pretty much what most of the division's at. They're the only ones that really had anything really put together. I don't think this changes all that much. If anything, I think it just kind of frees up some ability to go in a different direction because the whole dream team that they built, yeah, you won a lot of games, but you didn't actually win when it counted.
Do you think, and I'm going to ask you this from the White Sox fan standpoint, do you think that Kinsler's going to be able to help the Tigers as much as many Detroit fans think?
I think the expectations are probably going to be kind of high, but at the same time, Detroit fans like Prince Fielder. So there might be that kind of backlash of, oh, this is the guy that's replacing him, and I think a lot of them will be upset when you don't get the same kind of play.
Two totally different players, and last but not least, great on the trade. I'm giving it an A for both sides because,
Really?
I mean, Detroit, I'm taking it from a standpoint you freed up money in order to keep pitching in town. And, Dave, it's like you said, how do you win a World Series? You win it
I
off
don't think I
of
said
pitching.
it enough times.
You win it
just
off
in
of
case,
pitching.
Yeah, just in case the listeners weren't clear, it's pitching.
And, I mean, with Texas, I mean, they need a big hitter. And Prince Fielder, is he going to play first base? He can, but I think DH him, and he'll do fine there.
Yeah, he might save his legs a little bit, if he goes the DH way. But this is a guy who can split time with absolutely no problem. His glove isn't terrible. He's more athletic than he looks, I'll be honest. He's a portly man, but he's got some legs.
With them baggy pants.
Oh, he's sagging the pants.
But I gave it an A. What are you guys grading it?
I give it a B for both sides. I don't think it's anything that terrific and that great, but I think it shows some good promise for each team. It's obvious what both teams want to do and the kind of direction they want to go, and it works. It makes sense for both teams. There's no one who you think gets screwed out of this deal. Nothing blockbuster or monumental, but
So you're disagreeing with everyone saying, "Oh, it's such a blockbuster deal
Absolutely.
in the MLB."
yeah, it's not. It's just
It doesn't
it's a
change
good trade.
either organization, to be honest with you. It really doesn't turn their entire system around. It doesn't. It's a minor improvement, and I don't see either team gaining 5 to 10 wins even off of this.
It's funny that we're talking about trading because I just looked at ESPN. We're sitting here on Friday at about 4 o'clock. David Freese just got traded to the Angels. Cardinals sent David Freese to the Angels for outfielder Peter Borajos and in a 4-player deal. I think this is more blockbuster than Fielder for Kingsler because of David Freese Cardinals. They were just in the World Series.
Yeah, I trust the Cardinals, though. They're an extremely well-run organization. They made the right move on Pujols and made everybody look like idiots. So I'm going to go with if they're trading Freese, they know what they're doing.
I mean, former World Series MVP and Freese.
And he was hot that year.
He was hot that year. He was hot this past year until Boston kind of said Boston's strong.
But hey, always remember, sometimes you just got to sell high. If you can get something good and you think it's going to be declining, go ahead and trade it off. That's something in sports a lot of people, due to loyalty, they kind of forget about that.
Well, and I mean, I kind of think it goes back to what we talked about last week with us being Chicago fans, with some of the people that are like, oh, the Bulls should trade Derrick Rose, try to sell him high. That's a different side to it, though.
But he's not high right now. That's the problem.
Well, they're saying trade him now for anything, though I'm talking about those people that say we should trade him. That's another thing.
Yeah, Derrick Rose is not a trade for anything type of player. You might be
He's
able to say
traded
that
for a
much.
superstar.
Yeah, exactly. That's what because you have a superstar right now, and yeah, he's having a rough time right now, but everybody has a rough time every now and then, especially coming back from a huge injury.
An ACL injury.
Yeah, which took an entire season plus.
Way to make everybody look bad, AD.
Yeah, really. That's just what it is. Everyone's blinded by that.
Well, and I mean, I think of RG3, but we'll get to RG3 later with our NFL picks. We're going to go over to, before we get to those picks, college football. The news topic that is swirling the college football world. Famous Jameis charged of sexual assault.
This is an interesting one because obviously it's been over a year on this case. It's buried. Florida State wanted to bury it as much as possible.
Well, what do you think?
Exactly. They don't want one of their star players who, even though he wasn't playing at the time, they knew he was going to be a good player.
They knew that, hey, EJ Manuel's bye-bye, redshirt freshman in.
Exactly. You want to keep him in there. So you want to avoid the scandal. And now that he's so popular and has been such a boom and such a wonderful personality, you see as well with that smile he always has on his face, of course it's going to come back up. It's not going to be able to stay buried forever. So I don't know. With this one, a lot of people are asking about the Heisman. Does it affect his Heisman campaign? Obviously, I think it does. I think it has a big effect. Even if he is found not to be, to have zero connection one way or another, where he's saying it's consensual sex, she's saying it's not. I don't know what way that's going to go. It's hard to say. I don't know if he's going to be suspended, for how long he'll be suspended. I don't understand where that's going to go. But it obviously is going to have some effect on the Heisman. It should have some type of suspension effect, but I feel like it just keeps getting pushed back right now. It just got delayed again for another week.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they even said in an article today that even though the decision was pushed back, that they're looking to make a decision early next week, but then they put in there even later. So that could mean like, oh, when are we going to make a decision? And I mean,
possibly after bowl season.
When I first heard about this story, I was like, okay, we need to hear both sides because I mean, when you put out a charge of sexual assault, you need to come into it. We're like, okay, we need to get the facts before we start making any accusations, because I'm just going to throw it out there, devil's advocate. There are some chicks in this world that might be like, oh, he's got money, even though he doesn't. He's got fame. He's got this. I want to ruin that. So early on, I was like, I don't know. But right now, after the evidence that they said they have of Winston, part of me is leaning like, could he get charged with sexual assault? And how would this hurt not just his Heisman candidacy? How would this hurt his draft stock? Even if he's not charged, how does it hurt his draft stock? And then FSU going forward this season?
Well, here's the thing. I think an issue for this case, and an issue with a lot of sexual assault cases, it's going to come down to a he said, she said. And yes, there is evidence. There is evidence that says those two had sex, without a doubt about that. Now,
but how do you prove? Because right now they have, his semen is on her underwear. How do you prove that it was consensual?
That's the issue, and you really can't. You can't prove it one way or the other, unless you have something that proves it, like an eyewitness, or and anything like, I don't know, if you have a videotape, things like that are the only ways you can prove it. But you're not going to have that. You're not going to have any of that in this situation. So you can't really prove it one way or the other. So that's why, in all honesty, especially in a Florida court, I say Jameis Winston's going to get off with this.
Well, let's say he doesn't get charged with this. One of the things that I've heard this week, and they've been talking about, oh, what if he is charged? But what if he's not charged? How does this hurt Jameis Winston's draft stock moving forward? Because in the NFL, now it's not like, oh, you're a junior or senior. What have you done lately? It's what have you done your entire life coming up to this point with, and it's a big character. It's a big flag word now. Character issues.
Yeah, I don't buy that stuff. I think it hurts the Heisman. It might even hurt the bowl season. But I don't think it hurts his draft stock very much. I still say, especially because he's still got a season to play. To remember that. And assuming that
2 seasons to play, because he's
redshirt freshman.
Redshirt
can come out early.
1 season.
So he still has some time to play, and that's going to kind of be forgotten about. It'll be mentioned at the beginning of the season, and then it'll probably be forgotten about until draft time. And I think after that, you're going to have a lot of coaches just say, yeah, it happened. He dealt with it. He wasn't charged. Let's move on.
So you're saying the only way it hurts your draft stock is if he's charged?
I believe so, yeah.
That's it? Not even a little bit if he's not?
I mean, yeah, he might drop down like from the first round to the second round, but that's really not that big of a deal.
See, I'm on the other side. I feel like you said that if he's not charged, it's going to hurt the Heisman, and it's going to hurt the bowl chances, right?
Yeah.
That's what you were saying? I think it's the opposite. If he's not charged, that means he plays, and that means Florida State's going for a national title. Because, I mean, I highly doubt that they're going to lose a game this season with famous Jameis under center. And, I mean, the Heisman should go to the best player, and at this point, even though it is a popularity contest, I feel like famous Jameis would win the Heisman.
It's a toss-up between him and Johnny Football.
Who does the nation like more?
I like Johnny Football more. I like Johnny Football because he's not being accused of rape. So there's popularity for you.
But people can throw on the other side, and I know it's not being charged with sexual assault, but they can say, well, oh, look at Johnny Manziel with his signing issues and all he had.
I think everyone's
which is
forgotten about
less
that
offensive.
Oh,
Well, yeah, first
no,
off,
I'm not
old
saying they're on the
news.
same level. I'm just
Second,
saying
less offensive by
that's what
leagues and
people
bounds.
would say. I'm just saying that's what people would say. I'm not saying they're
And
on
I'm
the same
saying
level.
people won't say that.
You're not saying that the
Vetoed.
you're not saying that the famous Jameis supporters would be like, well, Johnny Football had his issues.
I don't
as
know
well.
how many famous James supporters there will be if he gets, he's already been accused of this sexual assault, and if it goes through, no chance.
I
Absolutely
actually
no
think
chance.
basically the Seminole Nation is pretty much going to stay behind him, obviously.
Yeah.
No matter what, they're behind him.
But as a nation, I'm pretty sure Johnny Manziel's pretty much won everybody over again with his ridiculous play.
Yeah, everyone quickly forgot about any issue he had.
Very quickly.
If you looked at draft boards, it was like, oh, this guy's got huge character issues. He'll be lucky if he's taken at the end of the first or in the second round. Oh, wait, now he's back up all the way to the top of the first round board again. That's what I thought. No one cares about character issues if it's swept under the rug. And if it's, especially the signing thing, because it's a garbage issue due to all the controversy with college athletes being paid. So he gets leeway there. And then again, he's a college student. He's 21, 20. I mean, come on. He's got a lot of leeway there. So his case doesn't look nearly as bad as Jameis Winston's does. So I still got Manziel with a high chance of winning this just because of this being brought up again, regardless of if he is convicted or not.
Well, that's going to do it for our college football. Guys, it's time to go on to our favorite segment of the show, our NFL picks for the week.
And especially this week, because we're going to do an in-depth look at the Jacksonville Jaguars organization. We've got a 30-minute lineup set for you guys.
Well, we are going to have that because a little teaser, Jacksonville, big things this week. One of us might pick the Jacksonville Jaguars to win this week, but the first game we got lined up, Packers-Vikings. And this game, to me, being a Vikings fan, if we can't beat the Packers without Aaron Rodgers, just end the season. Yeah, I know
You
we're
guys'
2-8. You
season
can end
ended
it
when
over.
you lost to the Browns.
You know what?
Your season's been over.
As a Vikings fan, this is my Super Bowl.
That's sad because you're
That
probably
is
going to lose.
really embarrassing.
You're going to lose. Even without Aaron Rodgers, you guys are going to lose.
This is my Super Bowl. This is what my season rides on. I'm picking the Vikings. I am finally going to back my Minnesota Vikings in a game this year.
That's impressive because they haven't looked good at all.
Not even close to good for the majority of the season.
Even an injured Packers team is going to be better than the Minnesota Vikings. AD can do whatever he wants to do. It doesn't matter. It's just a shame that he's on this Vikings team and he never got a chance to get a ring. That's what I got to say about it.
He's still going to be a Viking. You guys are
Sadly.
Yeah,
referencing
he's not going to have a chance to get a ring.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that moving forward, maybe this is optimistic Viking fan, but just because we had a bad season this year doesn't mean we're never going to win a Super Bowl.
2 years ago.
Probably
and you had a bad
not
season
with-
before that
with
one.
AD.
We had a bad season last year.
Did I say last year? I don't believe I did.
No, I'm throwing out last year.
Exactly.
You can't just throw out all the bad seasons and say you're not going to win a Super Bowl ever.
Yeah, but you got some issues right now. You got
No,
some
I'm not
coaching
saying we
issues.
don't.
You got issues at the quarterback position.
And we'll get to those issues at the end of the season. I'm talking about this game. I'm saying Vikings because you got to win this one. You got to beat the Packers. Especially with, Tozane? Is he starting or is it going to be Flynn?
No, Flynn's not going to start.
So, I mean, with Tozane in, you got to beat the Packers. I'm going with the Vikings.
I'm taking the Packers. They're a better team even with the injuries.
Yeah, I'm sticking with the Packers as well. I think that they're still able to throw the ball around with that offense, and Eddie Lacy's giving them the kick. They now have a balanced offense. I don't see this Vikings team putting up much of a fight.
Not a fight at all? Not a little
There's
bit?
not much.
I mean, you still
they'll
got
put up
Adrian
like
Peterson.
probably
So it's a
14
little bit of a
points.
fight.
You're in the 10 to 14 point range.
Well, next game we got Steelers, Browns, and guys, I'm just gonna say last week you guys said the Lions were gonna beat the Steelers. What happened there? What Ricky was right.
Logic didn't happen. You have the most sacked quarterback in the NFL versus two of the best defensive linemen who didn't get to him. Roethlisberger looked like 6 years ago Ben Roethlisberger, which is just impressive.
The curse of Bobby Lane in full effect for the Detroit Lions. That's why I picked the Steelers. You got the curse of Bobby Lane. He's the only good quarterback that the Lions have had since Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford's going to break his records. He goes to the Steel City. He has tons of success. Steelers win that game, but this week I'm picking the Browns.
I'm not going to pick the Browns because I picked the Browns last week and they disappointed me.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Steelers. As much as I want the Browns to win the AFC North, because I really want that to happen.
I do, though. That's why I'm picking the Browns.
They're the weirdest team, and I'm going with the Browns as well. I can't quite peg why. I hate the fact that they've stopped using one of the best young tight ends in the league. And
you just question that because he's on your fantasy team.
I do. You had somebody who was absolutely lighting up in the beginning of the year, and then let's not throw him the ball anymore. For no
how
reason.
many quarterback changes have the Browns had this
3.
year?
How many quarterbacks have the Browns had in the past 10 years? Says that question.
Too many.
A lot.
They should have stuck with Jeff Garcia.
The picture with the jersey where it just keeps listing all the quarterbacks down.
Yeah, it's a sad story for this Cleveland team. But I don't even know. They should just keep losing so they get better picks. I'll be honest with you.
But that's the problem with the Cleveland Browns. They always are not bad enough to get a good pick.
Yeah, they're going to finish out the season 7-9.
Exactly. And it's what always kind of messes them up because they don't get the star players, and then they usually whiff anyways.
Yep. They're stuck in purgatory pretty much.
See, main reason why I am picking the Browns in this one, Steelers are 1-4 on the road this season. Browns are actually 3-2 at home. So, this one being in the dog pound, you got to give this to the Browns, right?
No, because I'm picking the Steelers.
Well, I'm not asking you. I'm asking Dave because Dave's picking the Browns, Mark.
Yeah. I'm picking the Browns. Mark, you hear that?
It's not going to happen.
It will.
Sadness.
Sadness. Well, the next game, we got Buccaneers actually got a win over the Atlanta Falcons, but hey.
Not surprising. Atlanta really sucks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the only 2 wins the Bucs have this season have been at home. Can they win on the road?
Nope.
Going up against the Lions in the Motor City this week.
Nope, they can't because the Lions got embarrassed. They could have and should have won that game. They didn't. They need to go back and win it, especially at home against this Buccaneers team, which is trying to climb back up, but the Lions need to slap them in the face and say, stay down.
They're Schiano men, Mark.
It's those Schiano men. He's finally getting his Schiano men in place.
Mike Glennon has been playing some really good football. I think it's gone a little bit unnoticed because of how terrible the Bucs team is just as a whole. But it looks like they finally got a solution on the running game. It seems like every other week they got a new running back who can run for 100 yards. Pretty good system, I'd take it.
Well, I just find it funny that, last year we're talking about, the Buccaneers with Doug Martin, huge rookie Doug Martin, and now it's like, Bobby Rainey.
That happens when injuries go down, you know?
I just find it funny. They got rookies 2 past years just lighting it up, and for this week,
We'll see if he has continued success, though.
I am not going to do what I did last week, not going to sit Bobby Rainey this week. I am riding the Rainey train. Bucs get the win in the Motor City.
And I'm going to go the other way. I think Detroit's going to pull it off. I think they're going to go total revenge mode after what happened to them last week. And Calvin Johnson's going to get 3 more touchdowns.
One thing, though, with your guys' picking the Lions, why are you guys picking the Lions? If the Lions lose and the Bears win, Bears are back in the playoff race.
That's not the question.
I'm just being a realist. This game matchup favors the Detroit Lions.
Okay, I'm just trying to throw it out there for the Bears fans in the rooms.
I am being as impartial as possible, Bears fans.
What about the next game we have lined up? Chiefs coming back home after their first loss. The Miami
to the
Dolphins,
only good team they've ever played.
The old Dolphins team popping that champagne because Chiefs not going to go undefeated. Now they got Phillip Rivers and the Chargers this week.
And they should be able to win this game. They just lost. They want to kind of prove themselves. They're once again playing yet another crappy team. I see no reason why they can't get this win.
Yeah, their defense is going to bunker down. They did a pretty good job containing Peyton Manning. Put the Broncos at a season low, 27 points, which is pretty impressive. It may not sound impressive, but for this Broncos offense.
The Chiefs weren't able to get pressure on.
No.
As much pressure as many thought they would.
But they were able to contain, which means what they'll do to Phillip Rivers should be very good and very effective.
Peyton Manning basically beat the Chiefs with a bum knee, bum ankle, whatever you want to call it. Phillip Rivers doesn't have a bum knee or ankle, and he is just going to get rocked by this Kansas City defense. I'd be surprised if they score more than 14 points in this game.
Yeah, I think Kansas City's defense is only giving up on average 17, 18 points. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think it's going to be low scoring for both teams. KC traditionally maybe 20 points, maybe 21 if they're lucky.
And also, if you're the Chiefs, you got to win this game because who do you get next week at home? Denver. You got the rematch, and basically you win that game next. You win this game, win next week, win a few more. You could be the best team in the AFC when it's all said and done.
Best record in the AFC, not the best team necessarily.
And then let's wait for next season when they do horrible because they have a
stronger schedule.
Yeah, exactly, and they don't get the good draft picks.
Well, we had an interesting call on Monday night, and I'm saying that because the Panthers are playing the Dolphins this week. 7-3 Panthers going into Miami.
That's right. Claw up, everybody. Hashtag claw up. It's going to happen. Did you want to talk about that game now?
We have to.
Okay.
I
wasn't sure if you wanted to wait.
Well, because when we get to the Manning Brady, we're just going to be talking Manning versus Brady. So just get the Monday night game out now.
The flag was thrown. There should have been an explanation about why it got picked back up. There wasn't a good explanation.
Some would say that it's fucking bullshit.
Some did say it was.
I believe a certain Tom Brady may have mentioned
on
that.
national TV. But yeah, I mean, my thought is, I'm not that upset, to be honest.
Because I picked the Panthers.
I did too, claw up. But here's the thing about this. Even when it gets to, of course, you're going to call me biased too, because I wasn't upset with the Packers when they had their blown call Monday night game against the Seahawks.
The touchception?
The touchception directed by, I don't remember, directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Leonardo DiCaprio. But I wasn't upset about that. My thing about these type of down-to-the-minute games, down-to-the-second type of games, why were you in this situation? Play better in the rest of that. I mean, you're complaining about 10 seconds. There was 59 minutes and 50 seconds left that you could have done a better job, and you didn't do a good job. And I can see the anger building up in Dave right now.
That's correct. Because
is it boiling over, Dave?
It's getting pretty close. It doesn't matter that there's 59 and other minutes in the game. It shouldn't be called any differently than the rest of the game.
You can't just change the calls. Differently. It's just that it is because there's one mistake. Earlier on,
because there was some calls earlier in that game.
Well, maybe if Talib ice up, son.
I'm just saying there were some calls earlier in that game that would have been called differently, and it's just I'm looking for consistency out of refs, and I think that he would have called that earlier in the game, but he didn't want to be the guy who made the last call of the game.
Well, and that's the thing. I think this is a grander issue because we could relate this back to the Super Bowl from last season. Refs get in these moments. If there's a play like this to end the game, refs are just going to pick up the flag because they don't want to be that guy and have the fans, the media, the coaches.
Yeah, they're just going to swallow it.
They don't want to be the guy that, the Patriots won because of you.
Yeah, they don't want to have the tuck rule situation where everyone who's basically not a Patriots fan blames the referee for that. But I don't know. First of all, I will say, was it a penalty? Yeah. It's not a pass interference, but it's a holding penalty.
Well, I know us as Chicago fans, we're pretty familiar with bear hugs that should have been fouls, Kurt Heinrich.
And it's a penalty. Should have been a penalty. It didn't get called. It happens. It's not that huge of a deal, I guess.
But was it a catchable ball? That's the question.
Okay, here's my thing about the catchable ball. I can firmly say, I can't guarantee anything, but I can firmly believe in my heart,
if Luke Kuechly wasn't there, it's a catchable ball.
Gronkowski would not have caught that ball. That's my thought. If there's no holding, he's not catching the ball. What he is going to do, he would have had a chance to stop the other guy from intercepting the ball. He was in front of him. Even if Gronkowski stops, that defender knew that play, knew exactly what it was going to be because there was no doubt. It's a Hail Mary. You just throw it deep to Gronkowski. He's the only guy you can trust to catch the ball that way. He's a fucking monster. Of course he's going to. He undercut the route. No matter what, he was in front of Gronkowski. And since it was thrown low, Gronkowski can't just go above him and catch it.
Well, another thing I'm going to bring up that I just thought of, and this is just nitpicking, and I'm going to say it anyways. If Tom Brady throws the ball a little bit further, maybe a little bit more towards where Gronkowski was.
Oh, it would have been touchdown.
It would have been pass interference because then it would have been a catchable ball.
Even then, I think Gronkowski could have done it.
Now you're just arguing intangibles that don't matter, though.
Oh, it doesn't.
You pick out 50,000 plays that happened during that game if he would have done this or that. The point is, the refs
basically just said what Mark said about the 59 minutes.
No,
there's other plays in the game where they could have
No, you're just picking out random moments in the game that what if he had done this? What if he had done that?
Well, I'm picking out the play.
It
The play
doesn't-
that happened.
Yeah, but the play could have been any one of those plays is the point.
The holding penalty probably should have been called, especially since there's a flag out there. You throw a flag out there, you got to call it. It's out there now. That's my thought.
So
on
if
that
it
one.
was a holding penalty, what would they get the ball at the 1?
Yeah.
And then basically give it to LeGarrette Blount, touchdown.
And then the Patriots are probably going to get a touchdown. They're probably going to win that game.
Yep.
But that's not how it worked out, and this is sports. That's what happens. There are blown calls in every single game. Some of them happen at the end of the game.
Let's be honest. If the better team won every game, the Patriots would have 5 Super Bowl rings in the last 12 years?
The Giants wouldn't. Eli Manning wouldn't have Super Bowls.
Exactly. It doesn't. The best team doesn't always win.
Exactly, and this is the
why you
human
play the
element
game.
of sports. Exactly.
The Cardinals would have beat the Steelers in a Super Bowl, Dave.
Oh, you mean if the refs actually threw a flag? Yeah, that would have been
for a
crazy.
chop block?
But I mean, that's the thing. We mentioned it before with the past Super Bowl, which some people in this room don't necessarily believe that those penalties should have been called, Ricky. But yeah, I think there are a lot of those issues where the refs don't want to make it an impact, and by not choosing a no call and choosing to not impact the game, you impact the game.
True, but then people don't see it that way. Most people don't see it the way you just said it.
They do today. They do this week.
Depends on which side of the fence you're on. But this week we have the Panthers going up against another AFC East team, this time the Dolphins, the 5-5 Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm saying it right now. The Dolphins, those fins, they're not going to be finning up. Those fins are going down. Fin down. Dolphins are dying to the Panthers.
If the Dolphins want to win this game, they better ice up, son. But I'm going with the claw up movement. Panthers with the W.
Panthers are a solid team. I don't like the Dolphins at all at this point. Organization's in shambles. They don't have great quarterback play. They don't have reliability on defense at all. So, Panthers.
Poor Tannehills.
Poor Tannehills. And now we've got Jets, Ravens, and Mark. You're actually going to pick the Ravens in this matchup?
Yeah, the defending Super Bowl champions, the Ravens.
The team that wasted all their money on a quarterback who's not very good?
Yeah, they wasted all that money. But here's the thing. They got beat badly, and they could have won this game against the Bears. They were very close to winning this game against the Bears. Just couldn't get it done. I think there's a little bit of a... that was such a strange and weird game. It's time to move on. Just completely forget about it. Reboot. Let's beat the Jets.
It's okay. We learned our important lesson. Bye weeks do not count as weeks off for the Jets. So this week they should win.
Yeah, I learned that by starting Geno Smith last week.
You were high.
I told you not to do this.
Yeah, I would not have.
Bye weeks don't count.
See, I thought they would have, but
I thought they would have.
you live and
too.
learn. This week we're picking the Jets.
Well, me and Dave are.
Yeah,
Mark's
yeah.
picking the Ravens.
Yeah, I don't know
Defending
what you're
Super Bowl
thinking.
champions, yep.
You can say it as many times as you want, but that opening game proved that they were not the best team.
Oh, no, they're not the best team at all, but they can be better than the Jets.
I don't know.
The 5-5 Jets, they can do a better job than the Jets.
Then the what? What's the record of the Baltimore Ravens?
4-6. doesn't
Yeah.
matter. They're about to tie it up.
The only thing that I think goes in Mark's favor is that the Jets are 1-4 on the road, where the Ravens are 3-1. But hey, the Jets have Ed Reed. Ed Reed coming back to Baltimore
For the second time this season.
for the second time this season.
So
But
he's
this
going to
time-
forget which team he plays for
Yeah,
again
but
and
thi-
just
but-
let him just throw the
But
ball
this time
all
he
over.
comes back with an old buddy in Rex Ryan, so he's got that moral support on the sidelines.
He's going to forget which sideline he's supposed to go to. He's going to be wearing the purple and be like, why is Ed Reed a Raven again? Just got in the wrong locker room today, man.
And I'm just gonna move on. Next game, Jacksonville, Houston. Mark, we teased it before picks. I'm gonna let you announce your pick for
I'm
the
going
whole
to be
nation
taking
to hear.
the University of Jacksonville Jaguars on this one. I don't believe in the Texans. I keep saying it. I don't believe, even though I think I picked them last week, but whatever. I don't believe in them.
Yeah, you did, because I was the only one that picked the Raiders.
Yeah, that was a joke. But yes, and that's a good experience there of why they can also lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, another bad team. Although they don't have Terrell Pryor.
I'm confused though, because Case Keenum struggles
Gets
so much against the Raiders, but this week he's playing Jacksonville. Quarterbacks usually have success against Jacksonville. Look
Is
at
he
Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer looked like a god against Jacksonville.
Even Matt Schaub would only throw one interception against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
But it would still be a pick six.
Of course, of course. It's the only thing he knows how to do. But yeah, I just think Case Keenum, yeah, he does have to bounce back, but is that going to be a huge shake of confidence to him?
No.
I don't know.
No, a huge shake of confidence is if you lose to Jacksonville.
A huge shake of confidence is losing your job to the guy who you beat for that job, and then watching him get booed, and they still don't want to put you in.
He is playing with company money. Anything he does at this point is only upside. Literally, he can't go down. It's just, okay, I'm back to being a backup quarterback. It's obvious that he's proven...
Once you've tasted it, you don't want to lose that starting job.
Yeah, but if you look at his past couple weeks, excluding his struggles this past week, he's done a solid job as quarterback. I think just down week, it happens. So I've completely not so confident, but I'm going to pick the Texans anyway.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, with the Texans, I don't think you can all put it on Keenum because this team would be a lot different if Arian Foster wasn't injured.
If half their defense wasn't
And let's
injured.
also remember, of course, that Andre Johnson's not very happy right now.
You don't say.
He is quite upset, and he might talk about wanting to leave. So, is the morale?
So
of this
Andre
team,
Johnson,
is it going away?
Not nearly as man up as Larry Fitzgerald, who's just sticking with the Cardinals forever.
Yep, always puts it through. He's the one man who deserves.
He's got to be like one of the best guys. Yeah.
What, Larry Fitz?
And we'll never get it.
Fitzy?
Never's gonna have it.
Well, I'm taking Texans. Dave got Texans. Mark, the first person to ever pick the Jaguars in onside kick history.
I'm gonna pick the female Jaguars. That's right.
In our next game, we got Titans, Raiders. And my question, because I haven't heard anything, I'm going to ask you guys, is Terrell Pryor starting in this game? Or is he going to sit again and we're going to see the rookie out of Penn State, who I was excited to see, McGloin? McGloin. And I mean, I was surprised at how well he did during the preseason. Thought we were going to see him sooner in this season, but really, I don't know who's going to start. I don't care who starts. Pryor, McGloin, it's going to be the Raiders that win this game. Go Raiders!
Most weeks I'd agree with you. I like the Raiders. Probably goes to Val Davis, but I am not with you this week. I got to go against the Raiders in this one. So I got to take the Titans in this one. I think that they're going to keep that run game going. Defy all logic at this point. I'm just throwing logic out the door because if logic worked, the Patriots would have won that game.
I was just going to say that.
Well, I'm going for the Titans as well. I'm going to take CJ. Maybe he gets a K in this season. That's who I'm going for. Because, yeah, Fitzpatrick, Jake Locker, is there really a difference between those two quarterbacks? Not really.
Yes, there is.
There's not that much of a difference.
Jake Locker has legs.
Unless he's hurt.
And
then there's no legs. But, yeah, I'm taking the Titans on this one. I think that CJ, maybe a K, can get it done, especially against the Oakland Raiders.
Next game we got up, Colts-Cardinals, both coming off of wins. Can the Colts go into Arizona and defeat their former coach, Bruce Arians?
Yes, they can.
I got one thing to say. Honey Badger don't give a fuck about who is coming into his home. He is going to intercept the ball from Andrew Luck because he doesn't care.
Yeah, Andrew Luck's going to throw a pick. I mean, he's still a young guy. He's going to make mistakes. I like the Cardinals team. I've talked about it a lot of weeks in a row, but I like the team. I like
Dave,
the way they built up.
2 picks in a row where you said to me, now you're saying to Mark, most weeks I'd agree with you, but this week I don't.
Hold on. Dave's picking some weird teams this week. Yeah, it's strange, but I got to go with the Colts. I think that Andrew Luck has really started to open up his offense. I mean, it's kind of like by force because Reggie Wayne isn't there for him as a safety blanket.
Ever since that game where Wayne went down, Luck was like, what do I do? What do I do? And now he's starting to, okay, I can find guys and not throw it to the other team.
Exactly. Well, that helps. But I think he's starting to trust the younger guys a little bit more. So he's building up a better reputation with his young wide receivers and tight ends. I think it's a great building moment for him for the end of this season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going with the Colts too, mainly because Arizona, yeah, you beat Jacksonville. Yeah, you're on a 3-game win streak, but who'd you beat? Atlanta, Houston, and Jacksonville.
Yeah, but you're the one who's a big supporter of the Chiefs.
The seller.
The Chiefs, who have only played one good team and lost to that
seller.
Team.
I mean, your past 2 losses, San Fran and Seattle.
Will the Indianapolis Colts ever use Trent Richardson as the primary back? Like, what is up with that?
Not this season. I feel like they traded for him because they're like, oh, he's going to be able to impact now. And then they probably got him and were like, oh, shit, he doesn't know the system, and he's not learning the system. And
He's a
then
running
just said
back.
no.
Just let him run.
Or it could be Irsay wanted him, Pagano doesn't.
And that could be a big issue.
And Jim Irsay loves to talk. Loves everybody to know exactly what he's thinking.
I fucking hate Jim
I can't
Irsay.
stand Jim Irsay either.
I can't stand him.
I'm okay about him.
I don't like
Really?
him.
I don't really mind the guy.
I think I hated his dad more because he did the same shit, just talk to the media about anything and
Yeah, but now it's
made
more in our
stupid-
faces.
made stupid comments. Well, yeah, he's got Twitter now. That
Yeah.
he could do
He
it with.
loves fucking Twitter.
Twitter's like the worst thing. Why? Why
What's the
Twitter?
best thing? What's the best thing?
It's the best thing, but not when you're Jim Irsay. But I mean, going back to the Colts, they got to win this game. Right now, they're second in the AFC. Moving into the playoffs, you got to stay ahead of New England. You're lucky that New England got a loss last week, but I'm picking the Colts in this one. They should be able to get past Mark Weber's Honey Badger. And then we've got our last day game of the Sunday afternoon. Cowboys 5-5 on the road against the G-Men in New York.
I'm taking the Giants. When it comes to Giants versus Cowboys, I always pick the Giants. Never trust Tony Romo against this team because he always somehow messes it up.
Call me a fool because I'm picking the Cowboys.
What did I say in the Do you remember what I said in the preseason when I made my NFC playoff picks? What did I say about Dallas? Dallas will crumble. That's what they're doing.
They always do.
But you also had the Falcons in the playoffs.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, well.
At the preseason, did
And the Vikings.
at the
And the Vikings.
Okay, that one was.
Yeah, well.
That one was a fan favorite. But at the preseason, beginning of August, did you really think that Atlanta being the 1 seed was a bad pick?
Yeah.
Coming from the guy upon further review over here.
I'm pretty sure I had the Bears as the number 1 pick for the.
In the first seed?
Yeah, I did. I was a little lofty dreams at that moment.
Hey, I had the Packers as the 3 seed, Bears as the 5. I
Still.
also had San Fran not making
This
the
is
playoffs.
why preseason predictions are dumb.
They are.
Whoever,
never know.
Whoever picked Carolina, Mark.
Yep. I got that one. I said it. I believe in Cam Newton, and I believe in that defense claw up.
Well, you didn't start saying claw up until
They started
recently.
winning.
That's recent. That's
But-
since they've got their
But. Giants team, they seem to have turned it around a little bit. I'm not buying it.
They're doing what
They're
the
terrible.
Giants are doing.
They're a
they
terrible
come back from the
team.
dead.
They're a
Yeah,
terrible team.
This is what the Giants do. They suck, everybody counts them out, and then they come back.
Terrible team.
And the NFC East, who the hell knows what's going to happen? Is it going to be the Eagles? Is it
Oh,
going to be the Cowboys? Is it going to be the Giants? Same
don't
as
worry,
always.
the Eagles are going to win the division because the Redskins sure as hell ain't.
Wow.
No, Giants can come up and take it.
I feel like I have more faith in the Eagles than I do the G-Men.
It's because Matt Foles is a
Nick
legend.
Foles.
Nick Foles. I don't even know his name, but man, is he a legendary quarterback.
Yep, he's
Some
right up
would-
there with Peyton Manning.
Some would say he's on the same par as Y.A. Tittle.
Yep.
Some would say that Mike Foles is a tremendous quarterback.
My fault.
But yeah, I'm picking the Giants. Tony Romo. I hope Romo has a great fantasy day, but the Giants lose. because I
That's
have him on
why I
my
hate fantasy
team.
right there.
Why? Because you can have a great the.
I hope everybody has a
Dallas-Denver
great game, but I still want my team to win.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can do
Bears
that.
playing the Packers. I hope Aaron Rodgers throws like 5 touchdowns, but Jay Cutler throws 6.
Yep, it's who can do a little bit better, and that segues right into the Sunday night game. Who's the better quarterback? Everyone's been talking all week. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. I'm looking at that game going, does this really affect their legacy? Because it all
Not
matters on
even a
who
little.
wins a Super Bowl.
Exactly. The argument always is and always will be, well, Peyton's probably the best regular season quarterback ever. Tom Brady's came up clutch in the playoffs more times, therefore more rings. So it's a regular season matchup. Might lead a lot of people to lean towards the Broncos. I think the Patriots are going to light it up this week, though, basically because Tom Brady is a little bit angry after that call. And,
After that fucking bullshit.
yeah,
In
thank
his
you.
own words.
Tom Brady also had a little certain rule help him get to one of his Super Bowls.
Yeah, well, he also got screwed out of 2 of them. So, what's your
I
point?
wouldn't say screwed. I would just say good. Like,
I'd say
lucky
dumb luck.
plays. Yeah, dumb luck.
Dumb luck and screwed.
Dumb luck isn't screwed though.
It is in some situations.
For this one, I'm taking Tom Brady. I'm taking the Patriots. It's got to have that bounce back game.
Yeah.
And also, it's a good time for the Broncos. Lose a game, have a bounce back against the Chiefs, reassert some dominance.
Just beat down the Chiefs 2 weeks. Yeah.
Lots of bounce backs.
I don't know. I feel like I'm going with the Broncos because not only is Manning going to have a good game, I would say that this Broncos team is better than any Colts team that Peyton Manning has been on. You have Wes Welker, you have Demaryius Thomas, you have Noshawn Moreno in the backfield. Look at what Monta Ball was able to do last week.
But on the defensive side, well, yeah, he did fumble it.
But
Peyton Manning saved a touchdown.
Then he came back and got 2 touchdowns.
Peyton's got to come through and carry it with the best tackle of the game right there. So, I mean, he just does it all for this team. But I disagree because of the defensive aspect. I think the Colts had a more complete team. But as far as offensive weaponry goes, it's probably the most impressive. No, but it's not as good as the Colts had in the past with that ridiculous pass rush. But the thing is, this offense, unparalleled pretty much all the way back until the greatest show on turf. So it's hard to argue with it, but I think that the Broncos just have a weakness over the middle, and Tom Brady's going to exploit with that short passing game. You should keep hammering home those short passes.
But how?
Wear them away.
His main weapon's on the other sideline.
Vereen?
Wes Welker.
Vereen is still there.
But Wes Welker on the slant routes. That's
and
what
they
I'm
got cheap version of Wes Welker.
Who? Injury Amendola?
Well, and Julian Edelman.
And Julian Edelman.
They got 2 for 1 deal.
I forgot about Edelman ever since the Tompkins and the Dobson
2 for 1 deal.
Bronco comes back.
Exactly.
You forget about Edelman.
You do, but he's always running over the middle.
But
never
I will say, no matter who wins this game, it's a must-watch. It's a must-watch for Sunday
set
night.
Up to be the best game of the week.
And then, after Sunday night, you got the craptastic 49ers and the Redskins. And the one thing I want to talk about, because we haven't been able to talk about it, that Ahmad Brooks hit on Drew Brees last week. And how he got
fined
for it.
Was it legal? Was it not legal? It looked like he hit him on right across the chest, and it rolled. He rolled with it, which caused Drew Brees
that ridiculous neck where he just stretches out his neck.
It does look hilarious.
It looks hilarious in slow motion. But the one thing, I feel like it doesn't even matter that Brooks got fined because on Monday you have Ray Lewis saying, "Yeah, I'll pay half of it," and then the next day you have Teddy Bruschi saying, "Yeah, put another quarter on there." So already he doesn't have the $16,000
Yeah, these are people saying
fine.
things on TV, and I'm pretty sure I'd love to see the checks to back it up.
You don't believe
it's
that
old
neither
school
of
defensive
them played?
players? Yeah, I don't believe either one of them is going to pay
It's
up.
like we're still waiting on Aaron Rodgers' receipt.
Yeah,
when he's donating his salary.
Yeah,
still waiting on it.
That's different.
No,
though.
it's not.
No,
it's
it's
making a public promise.
different.
Public promises that people are not following up on.
Was he really? Do you think he was joking?
He made a public promise.
Yep. So there you
I
have
expect
it.
him to hold up.
But Niners, Redskins, who do you got?
I don't think it's as craptastic as you're selling it to
I
be.
think so. RG3's shit this year.
Wow.
And I mean, I feel like the 49ers are going to roll right over this Redskins team.
The 49ers have been underperforming, so I wouldn't say roll right over. The Redskins team, yeah, they're not running on all cylinders, that's for damn sure. RG3 still can throw the ball up, but he doesn't know who's going to come down with it.
But he's pissing off his locker room,
Oh,
too.
my God, yeah. He's had 2 wide receivers in the past 3 weeks come out and call him up publicly after he called them out.
Yep.
So I think it's a huge slap in the face. He's not the leader in the locker room. That's absolutely clear. He seems to not be very media friendly, media savvy. He's saying these things publicly, never should be said publicly. He needs to go in there, apologize to his team, be like, look, my mistake will never happen again. I got your back.
Never happen again. That happens next week.
We'll see. We'll see.
Time will tell. I got the 49ers on this. Because, yeah, I agree that the Redskins just really aren't that good. They're not showing off. RG3's never really gotten quite healthy. He was basically there at that Bears game, and now it looks like it's falling apart again. So I don't believe in the Redskins. They're the only team in the NFC East that I don't think have a chance to win that division.
Shanahan has to go back to abusing Alfred Morris. I mean, that run game was really the rock of that organization, and they seem to have strayed so far away because of RG3, all the hype around him, and everybody watching every single throw. And he's increased throws, and it's like, no. Go back to the run game. Go back to what was winning you games.
Well, not just that. Alfred Morris, yes, but 2, for just in an RG3 aspect, I feel like still, because of the injury, RG3 is now trying to be a sole pocket guy. He's not using his legs as he did pre-injury. And I mean, it's like, come on, RG3, that's your strong point. Your mobility in the pocket. You're a mobile guy.
Again, you're asking a player coming off of a brutal injury to go do something he's not comfortable and trusting his body with.
Yeah,
it's like the D-Rose argument.
He's never going to have success if he doesn't. I mean, D-Rose is confident. Did you see that report card he filled out today for that?
He gave himself an A.
A's and everything.
Straight A's. You got straight A's. You know what you can do with straight A's?
4.0 GPA. That's what I'm thinking.
C's get degrees. That's all I'm saying.
Technically, D's can get degrees sometimes, too.
That's impressive. And I'm a little disappointed. But, yeah, you're right.
But, I mean, RG3, yes, I understand why he's doing this, but if it's going to work, you got to go back to it. And, I mean, you're, 3-7 right now? Why not just try to go back to it?
And their defense is abysmal. That doesn't help.
Yeah, that doesn't help either.
Well, I mean, you might want to not go back to it yet. Go back to it next season when you have a fresh chance to actually win your division and get into the playoffs.
So we all have the 49ers in this one, even though 49ers coming off of 2 straight losses to the Panthers and the Saints.
We certainly
do. Those are 2 legit teams, though. You can't
they
forget.
are. They are. It's nothing like
we
that,
said,
that
Colin
Cardinals.
Kaepernick is in like his sophomore slump, a la Cam Newton. So I think he just needs to realize, it's not all on him. He doesn't have to go out there and make the big throws every single down. He's got a lot of people around him.
Well, that's going to do it for the Onside Kick this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Don't forget to comment down below, hit that subscribe button, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/the Onside Kick, and follow us on Twitter at Onside Kick Real. And as always, have a good day, everybody.